artist. Today we're going to start a new project. It's going to take us 3 art times to finish. And what we're going to do today is we're going to create the shapes and lines for some birch trees that later on we will use for our fraction cardinal picture. So what you need today is a paper, maybe some crayons, some glue, and some scissors. So gather your supplies and let's get started. Boys and girls, so what I have, I'm going to give you 2 options today to make your picture. Now you can use a colored piece of paper like this one for the background or the sky color of your birch tree picture. It doesn't have to be purple. I sometimes use blue or gray or pink or even green, whatever color you have lying around. Now, if you don't have this color with you, the other option is to take a piece of white paper, which I also have right here, and begin coloring it the color that you want. The nice thing about doing it this way is that you will be able to choose the color, and maybe you can even blend a couple colors together. So you can do that by mixing. I think I'll do this color right here. And you just start by coloring the whole paper. Now when you're coloring the whole paper, make sure that you're using long strokes to color it in. And filling the whole paper. Now, if you decide you want to blend colors together, you can do that. You would simply change colors when you're ready and overlap those colors, which just means you color a little bit on the other color and then start coloring in a new place for that. So once you get the whole paper filled with a beautiful color, and like I said, you can really choose any colors. Later on we will be putting a cardinal on here, and I will explain how to do that on a different day. So today we're just working on the trees for our cardinal, and we're going to do something called birch trees. Now birch trees are a beautiful tree that instead of having brown branches, they have white. So let me show you. You can use this whole paper once it's colored, or like I said, if you are lucky enough to have a colored piece of paper at home, just use that. What I'm going to use some white paper, and I actually just have some scraps left over from other art projects, and they're already cut into strips, but I might not want them all exactly the same. In fact, I think it looks a little more interesting if you make your birch trees different sizes and different widths. So I'm going to get a couple papers, and I don't always like my trees perfectly straight. So here's what I'm going to do. I might have one. Before I glue anything down, I'm just going to place them and think about my composition. Composition is the layout or where you place things on your paper. So maybe I'll have one thin branch and one thick branch over here, but you could move them around. Maybe instead of 2 thick branches, I would like to cut out a piece of paper, and I like it not to be totally perfect when I'm cutting, because real trees are not always perfectly straight. So having kind of one that maybe this one I will have leaning over just a little bit, and maybe I can use this one too over here. Now you'll notice that I don't always even have my trees perfectly spaced out. I sometimes leave a big space, sometimes a little space. I would say you probably should have at least 4 vertical branches or trunks to your trees on your paper before you glue anything down. Now you'll notice these are a little long. I'm not worried too much about that right now. What I want to do is I want to take and I want to add glue. Make sure you're using plenty of glue. You want to get this glued down, and when I've got that all done, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so now I have all of the vertical trunks of my birch tree glued on my paper. And right now, I don't really like that there's extra hanging off on the ends. So what I'm going to do is actually turn this over, And might as well give this a nice little massage before I keep going. I'm going to take my scissors. Remember, scissor safety, boys and girls. Thumb in the small hole, 2 or 3 fingers in the larger one, and always keep the blade pointing away. You're going to hold the paper with your other hand, but keep it away from the blades. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim off the extra part without cutting into the bigger paper. Turn it around, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I might use those scraps later for something else. Now, if you have, I think this looks really nice so far, but I would also, you know, trees don't only just grow straight up. They also have other branches coming off the side. So I'm going to make a couple. I'm not going to add too many of these. Going to use one of my scraps of paper here, and I am going to cut a really kind of long and thin triangle, maybe not quite that pointy. And I'm going to make 2, maybe 3. I don't want to have more than 2 or 3 because it gets too busy. I don't want them super long. You know, it's about the size of a crayon that I have. But if you have a different size of paper, it might be different for you. Now, I'm going to cut one more just in case I decide I want it. Cut one more. All right, so I've got a couple, 2 or 3 branches here. What I'm going to do is before I glue them down, I'm going to look at this and decide, this is kind of a chunky one, so maybe I'll have it coming off of this. It's okay if they overlap, if it covers up. Maybe I'll have one down here. No. I don't want them both pointing the same way. Maybe I need one over here. But I need one kind of going this way. So maybe I will add one more here. That seems like a good plan. Once you've got your plan decided, then go ahead and glue those on. Make sure that your branches are kind of growing up. They don't go down. Trees grow up. So try to have a diagonal branch going up a little bit. Maybe did I have it here? I think I had it right here. And my last branch. Remember, don't get carried away in adding a ton of branches. Just a couple will do. And if this branch, oh dear, it's hanging off the edge, so I'm going to trim that off as well. Now, that's all I want you really to do for today, is just create the layout for your picture. Later on, like I said, I'll show you how to make a cardinal and put it on here. Don't do that now. Don't try to guess because we have a special way we're going to do that. Remember, you can do it with either colored paper, construction paper like I did, or you can do it with white paper and then color the sky. I'll show you both examples at the end of this video so you can see what each looks like. So maybe you can choose which way you want to do it. Boys and girls, one thing I do ask, if you were able to make this at home this week, I would like you to take a picture of it and send it to me on Seesaw. You do that by clicking the Add Response button on this activity and then pushing the photo button. It looks like a little camera. You don't have to post a picture to Artsonia today. You can do that on another day when we have this all finished. All right, I hope you have had fun and that you are finding success in your art today. I'll see you next time. Bye.